Congratulations to all the PhD awardees and MTech by Research awardees.
Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya, Professor, School of Computing and Information Systems from the University of Melbourne, Australia, we request you to deliver the Convocation Address 2025. Please give a big round of applause and let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor Jawar, the Chancellor of PES University, Professor Surya Prasad, Vice Chancellor of PES University, of course, registrars and finance officers, and more importantly, the Board of Governors of PES University, and some of them happens to be my indirect teachers, and I feel like I'm also graduating today. For example, Professor Chidananda Gowda. So when I was doing engineering, he was a professor at HJC College in Mysore University. So in the final year, that A semester, so we had an elective called AI. So that was offered for the first time. Of course, we didn't have a textbook properly, and we are looking for some information that help us to learn a subject called artificial intelligence. And today we hear a lot about AI. At that time, some of my friends who were connected to Mysore, and they went to Mysore and brought a manuscript which was handwritten. And that was by Professor Chidananda Gowda. So I like to thank him today to express my gratitude for teaching me indirectly. Therefore, I can say, so he Professor Chidananda Gowda is a Dronacharya. I am like his Ekalavya, a Shishya who directly not studied, but indirectly studied. Thank you, sir. So similarly, all other colleagues here, senior chancellors, vice chancellors, and of course, I also had opportunity to meet them in different places. So I like to thank all of them for guiding this PES University and helping Jawar and other colleagues to make it what it is today. Thank you. Of course, this is really a privilege and honor. So I must say it is a more privilege. So given that we have many senior colleagues, so professors who have accomplished much more than me. So I am just like a small star in front of several suns. So our Chancellor, Vice Chancellor himself is a Surya Prasada, a mercy of Surya. So I like to thank the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, and my friend Nitin for inviting me to join this 10th Convocation ceremony. It is such a honor that PES University is celebrating 10th annual Convocation function. So it is also I'm very happy to know that more than 4,600 students from various degrees, PhD, Masters, Bachelors, MBA, they are graduating today. So this is a big milestone for all the students. And of course, the students' success is not just students' own. So it is an effort of several personalities. As you know, if you want to raise a child in a village, it takes the whole village to raise that child. In fact, I also came from a village, so I know what it means. Similarly, to have a student graduate successfully, it takes efforts of several personalities, starting with their parents, then of course then the teachers from primary school to today, then the management of the institute with the vision, so like Doreswamy, M.R. Doreswamy, to found an institute with a vision for excellence. And we see that terms appearing even in the convocation invitations. So one of the term is excellence. Excellence is the goal. Then of course we were talking to Chancellor. He mentioned that when we started this institute, we always had an aim of excellence. Then of course we didn't have a fund, but there was a vision for excellence. I can say personally, so I came to this campus 30 years ago. That was 1995. At that time, all that I saw was one small tea hut and one building. And I came, visited here on Sunday. Then I happened to meet Professor Jawar. He was here and he was architecting how should be the future in next 30 years. So that shows the dedication to present an environment, where students can learn skills, the network with them. Then of course, not only networking during education, but also post-education networking, which is very, very essential for your success. So I like to request, and of course, first I like to congratulate all those who are graduating, all 4,600 students. So today, and I like to request all of you to express your gratitude by standing up and of course, giving a bow your head to your parents and the teachers, everyone who helped you to what you are today. So can I request all the graduates please to stand up and then of course bow your head to your parents if they are here. If not, bow to the gurus and teachers and advisors, all of them who made you what you are today. Thank you very much. Just to share briefly personally about myself. So I am also Kannadiga. So my native place is Bidar. So I am sure many of you seen Karnataka map. We heard about the glory of Karnataka as written by Kuyempu. And of course, his son-in-law, Professor Chidananda, also I am sure he writes poem. I have not heard from him, but you can see Karnataka is very nicely glorified in the beginning. And Bidar also was mentioned there briefly. So Bidar is a district from where I come from, but I am actually coming from a village called Kauta, and there is a river called Manjra. So Manjra river was not mentioned, but other rivers like Kaveri, Tungabhadra was mentioned in Kuyempu song. Maybe I request Chidananda Gowda to write the updated poem, so that will have Manjra river also. So there I studied Kannada medium too. So many of you, maybe, how many of you have educated in primary and high school in Kannada medium? Can you please stand up? Only some of you, very nice. I just heard that Professor M.R. Doreswamy, Medara Mettala Ramanaidu Doreswamy. So Doreswamy liked students who are coming from a regional background like Kannada medium. And I understand that every year PES University offers for 10 students coming from Kannada medium, so free education, which means no tuition fee. And I was also pleased to learn that there is no fee for food in the hostel. So it's a free hostel, free education. So that demonstrates the dedication of the founders to support their background and their, where they come from, the root. And of course, I read the history and the life of Doreswamy, M. Doreswamy. So he was coming from agriculture family, and I also came from agriculture family. So we have many things common. But of course, I have not founded a university like him. But I'm very happy to be here in such a university, where founded by someone coming from agriculture background. And we all are looking for success in this world, especially in this material world. So there is no easy path to success, right? So people say there is no free lunch. You really have to, want to be successful, you have to pay a price. And what is the price? Tapo Divyam. So those of you who know when the universes are created, the first living being was Lord Brahma. And by the way, Lord Brahma is the first engineer of this universe. So if you're looking for some inspiration, and this Brahma is the first engineer, and even, so he didn't have everything to create this secondary in this world. Even he has to do tapas. Similarly, all of you also have to do tapas. And that is already reflected here also. Perseverance. Perseverance involves determination, some sacrifice, and continue to pursue for innovation and for excellence, and also offering services to the community. So those are very nicely, indicated here. Then, of course, we all look for role models in our, achievement. So we have great role models in science area. For example, Albert Einstein, who discovered energy mass equivalence, which we call E equal to mc square. Then we also have a technocrats. Some of you may want to become a greatest software innovator like Steve Jobs. And then some of you may want to become a greatest politician like Mahatma Gandhi. So all these people, are our role model and our inspiration. So now what is the inspiration for those personalities who have done such a great things? So many of them have derived inspiration from our Vedic knowledge of India, that is Bhagavad Gita. So how do I know this, or how do you know this? So if you look at a statement by Albert Einstein, he says, when I read the Bhagavad Gita, I ask myself how God created the universe. Everything else appears to be superfluous. Then of course you ask Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi, MK, Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi, don't confuse with other Gandhis. There is MK Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi, MK Gandhi. So he, fought with different weapons, unlike other people fight with, some who are occupying. So in our case, India case, the Britishers, mighty empire with the mighty army, and Gandhi is able to fight with them and then of course defeat them. And what is the source of inspiration for him? Or what is the source of his courage? It takes a great courage to stand in front of somebody who is holding a bullet. Correct? How many of you are ready to stand in front of a gun? No, nobody. But whereas he had a courage, then of course he has many, many setbacks. Don't assume that the success was very easy. So many, many setbacks. Many things didn't work out as he intended. But however, whenever he found setbacks, so he found Gitas to be his source of inspiration. So therefore, so he says, for example, just in the reading the statement made by Gandhi himself directly. So he says, whenever there is a disappointment that, stare at my face. So what does Gandhi do? So he just picks up a Bhagavad Gita like this, then just opens a suitable verse and read it and derive a great ray of hope. So that was from Gandhi. Then what about technocrat like Steve Jobs? So once Steve Jobs was asked by his friend, Steve, what is the source of your success? You've been so successful in designing such a complex system, financially successful, also well-known, famous, and whatever you designed, everyone is using it throughout the world. What is the source? He said, my lifestyle following Eastern philosophy. In fact, if you have heard his Convocation lecture at Stanford University in USA a few years ago, he said, so when he was building this, Apple company, so he didn't have a very air-conditioned room to build up, but he started working in garage. Then of course, whenever you're hungry, you may not have money. So therefore, what we do on a Sundays like today? So he would go to a Hare Krishna temple where they offer a nice vegetarian feast. And he said, I'm very fond of having this feast at Hare Krishna temple, but it's not about having a feast, but also in Hare Krishna they talk about in the temple, chanting, dancing and feasting. So therefore, so he has chanted Hare Krishna mantra. So he has chanted, Krishna's name. He chanted Srimati Radharani name also. And of course today is not just a great auspicious day for you, but it's also auspicious day because today is celebrated as appearance day of Radharani, Radhastami. So who is the source of all the wealth? In fact, she is the source of all the Laksmis. We have Sahasra Laksmis because we have so many universes and each of the universes has a Lakshmi and that source is Radharani. So she is a potency, internal potency of Lord Sri Krishna and I'm very glad to know that. So your graduation day happens to be such a special day, and I hope that you will continue to receive blessing from Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, and also, of course, Mother Radharani, who is a goddess of wealth. And if you can combine education and the wealth together, you can imagine the bright future. And of course, you must make sure that you use that wealth and that education for betterment. And that is what our Chancellor already mentioned, that service to the future generation. Not just service to the future generation, but also service to the previous generation. That is, offering service to your parents, elders who have helped you to come to this state. Otherwise, it will be just waste of investment of time and effort from their side. So very important that you express that gratitude to all of them. Then, of course, in the Gita, how many of you read Gita? Can you please raise hand? Okay, some of you not read, but please derive inspiration. If you want to be a great innovator like Steve Jobs, or you want to become a greatest person, a scientist who want to discover some mysteries of this universe, and this is the source. And those great discovery people have said this, and I can tell you personally, it will work. And the last verse of this Gita is chapter 18, the last verse. It says, Yatra Yogeswara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanudhara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti Nitir Matirmam. So we are looking for Sri. Sri is wealth, opulence. If you have a Krishna or a book with you, and you lead your life based on this book, whether you are running this institution like this, or you are starting a company, or you want to be a politician, or you want to be some just soft engineer, doesn't matter. Keep this book and follow this teaching throughout your life. Then you will achieve Sri, that is wealth, and victory, that is Vijayo. Vijayo means victory. Then Bhuti, exceptional power, exceptional strength. You may be physically weak, but because you are following this, you will get all that strength. Then of course you will also be moral person. So morality is very important. We see some of the people, maybe at youngest age, may become a MP and MLA and so on. But if they don't have a morality, big problem. Okay, so very important that all of you, include this habit. And of course, ultimately we all want to be happy. And what is the foundation for happiness? So in the Gita, and many of them, they say, our consciousness has to be divine. In our thoughts, in our action, in our words, have to be divine. Then of course we also have to have a divine way of continuous learning. It's education, continuous learning. This is not just graduation is the end of your knowledge acquisition. You have to continue to educate yourself. Those who have graduated PhD, continue to do research, help solve some of the problems facing the society. So this is a continuous learning, very important. And as a result, having this consciousness always divine. So what happens? You will have intelligence which is spiritual. We all have some intelligence. Even the ant has intelligence. All the way from Brahma to insignificant ant has intelligence. But we need to make our intelligence spiritual. When our intelligence is spiritual, our mind will be steady. Otherwise, our mind is like a monkey mind. So steady mind is very important. And then of course, when you are steady, you will be peaceful and happy. And in fact, Steve Jobs says that his ability to invent these complex systems come from steady mind. And where is that steady mind coming from? Spiritual intelligence. And where is intelligence coming from? Having Hare Krishna meal at Hare Krishna temple in California. You can imagine, many of you may want to go to California. Don't worry. So there are temples there, whether you go to Australia, whether you go to America, or for that matter, China. I was in China for last 3 weeks. So you go to any cities, there are people who are following teachings of Bhagavad Gita perfectly. They are not Indians, they are Chinese, born in China. So you will derive a source of inspiration, source of strength from them. So I hope that many of you will follow this. This is very, very important. Then of course in our work, we also have to be stable. We need to make sure that we are physically fit, physically healthy, mentally healthy. And of course, our emotion has to be healthy. Then of course our spiritual health. So all of them have to be health. So how can we do that? Of course we also want financial healthy also. We want to be healthy financially. If you don't have healthy, very difficult. It's very important. So you can derive all those, cultivate knowledge from here. If you are working, so Krishna says, don't work for 24 hours. You need to be regulated in eating, sleeping, entertainment, and working. So we don't have to work 24 hours. You can work 8 to 9 hours, and then with excellence attitude. Very important. Sometimes people just go to office and work for 20 hours, but their productivity is very low. But on the other hand, some of them they work for 6 hours, their productivity is very high. So people like productive people. So very important that you be able to balance this lifestyle is very important. That's why you can be healthy. Then you can eat whatever food you want. You don't have to be eating a food that is diabetes compliance. Okay, very important. So these. Then next comes to the choice of employer. So let's say you want to now look for a job. I'm sure some of you already find. So in your first job, so please be driven by an opportunity that presents you growth. That opportunity that allows you to learn new things. This is how you have to be, when you graduate, in the first job at least. Then, of course, opportunity that presents you to contribute to some biggest, higher goal. And that opportunity may be a little bit less salary paid. It doesn't matter. So it's very, very important. We have many examples. So, for example, Abdul Kalam, he could have easily got a big job in place like NASA, but he dedicated himself to the nation building. So some mission critical application. So he was successful. So that is why he ended up becoming president of the country, without doing much political connection. Then, of course, even personally, my own example, after graduation, so I had opportunities from several multinationals. But however, I used to work for CDAC to develop India's supercomputers, indigenous supercomputers. So this was a great opportunity. And then I found great joy in contributing to such a national mission, and of course, huge opportunity to learn a lot of advanced technologies. At that time, people didn't really work on, such a advanced technology. So most of the IT companies were paying high job, but they were doing just simple COBOL programming. Of course, nothing wrong with COBOL programming, but if you have such opportunity, so it doesn't matter, take up, and that will really help you. So, which will help you in the future as you go along. And as you move forward in profession, you will face many success and failures. So we should be, determined and, persevere. Again, I'm referring to this perseverance. So whenever you come across failures, you should be, pursue, continuously with determined effort. So this is very, very important too. And you also learn here. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, whether it is success or failure, you must learn to treat them equally. And such a person is called Sthita Prajna. We will have a failure, we will have success, and you continue to be accepting them equally. Sometimes you have honor, sometimes people criticize you. It's very common. So especially as you grow in your career, some people criticize you, some people honor you. So you must learn to accept both success and failure, honor and dishonor equally. And such a person is Sthita Prajna. In fact, we can learn from, one of the old movies that I saw, Sampadige Savalu. How many of you saw this movie by Dr. Rajkumar? Sampadige Savalu. So there, Rajkumar sitting on a buffalo. What is he singing? He's singing, Yare Kugadali, Ure Horadali, Yamme Nina Nembadige, Bangavilla, Bisolamalige Birgadu Cheligani, Alukadembe Saguve. What does it mean? Those who don't know Kannada? Actually, I saw this movie when I was aged around 5. It was a very famous movie at that time. So, Yare Kugadali, let anyone shout. Ure Horadali, let the whole village fight. Yamme Nina Nembadige Bhangavilla. He's saying that this buffalo, there is no disturbance to your peace. And we have to be like that. Let anyone criticize you. Let the whole village fight. Why whole village? Nowadays whole world is fighting. So you can still be peaceful. Then, Bisalu Malige Biragadu Cheligani Aluka Dembe Sagwe. There is a strong heat, sometimes strong wind. So you should be able to grow, move forward with determined effort. In fact, those of you who have experienced this buffalo, suppose if it determined that it want to go to other side of the river, or maybe other side where the grass is green. Even if you put a fire on the path, it is determined and it will go and cross the fire and get whatever it wants. In the same way, if you want to excel and if you want to innovate, you will come across all these challenges. You also have to be determined, and this is something to learn from even the buffaloes as well. And of course, you can learn from Gita as well, but we can learn from buffalo also. So very important. Then next, finally, serving community. So the service also mentioned here, the last one. I am sure, given that all of you are educated from such a premier university, so in my opinion, this PES University is like Stanford University of India. You heard about Stanford University? Where they encourage every student to be innovative. Perhaps if you have a great idea, become an entrepreneur, start up a company, and all those ecosystem, the chancellor, our Jawahar, has been putting an effort to make that happen. So if not today, as time progresses, in another few years' time, you will see this will be a Stanford University of India, truly, not just my vision or my statement, but it will become. And how does it is possible? He is also guided by great personalities. I was mentioned, we heard about having four vice chancellors from different places are guiding this institute. Then of course the current vice chancellor of VTU is also on the board of directors. They all help in making it happen, apart from a determined effort from Jabbar and his team, so who are doing it. So that is very nice. Then all of you will definitely land, you will succeed. You follow Gita, you follow Bible, you follow Quran, but follow perfectly. There is a lot of misunderstanding. If you say Gita, there are thousands of Gitas, but they will actually give you wrong impression. So you must read something original. So that gives you original direction, original inspiration. So this way you will be successful both physically, mentally, emotionally. Emotionally is very important. Suppose you make $1 billion or maybe several thousands of crore money. What do you do with it? If you don't spend for service of community, IT tax office will come behind you. So better spend, otherwise they will take away. So it is very important that the service attitude has to be developed for the benefit of community. And then if you create something very unique, technology, let us say on the sideline of your work, so why don't you share with the community? This will be appreciated. So sharing is caring. So by sharing your knowledge, for example, those who have done PhD or a master's or a bachelor degree students, if you have done some innovative project, if you are not commercializing yourself, you don't just throw it away. Just make it an open source software, put it online, let somebody else benefit from it. So this is a very good attitude and it will help you. Even to give an example, in my case, we develop various software systems. So for example, one of the technology called Aneka, other is Cloud Sim, a simulator. So this simulator, you put it online and we continue to enhance continuously. And this simulator is used by, more than 20,000 researchers in cloud computing who have written more than 6,800 papers, and all those 6,800 papers are, idea evaluated using this cloud simulator, Cloud Sim. Not just university people, the companies IBM, Ericsson, when we were building a mobile cloud services modeling 10 years ago, they used Cloud Sim to model it first. If it works, then of course you can invest billions of dollars to build an infrastructure. Then of course make that as a service to the commercial world. So this is another way of offering you a technical services. With that, let me summarize. So I've already mentioned that this PES Institute has a great future. So should become Stanford University of India. So thanks to the efforts of all of them. So I'd like to thank the founder and then of course the current and of course, founder, how much you glorify, so it is not sufficient. Then, just knowing that starting a small, classroom with 40 students and from there building such world-class institutions, then understanding the pain that some of the students from villages go through and supporting them. So these are wonderful things, the service. Then not only building institutions, serving and helping them. So thank you, sir. Thank you for making this happen. I'm sure you will continue to do this. And then of course coming to all of you. So you have already gained a lot of talent and the skills. then I request all of you to use these skills in creating product and solutions that are affordable. Affordability is very important. If you build something very expensive, our village people can't afford it. So therefore, make it affordable. Then of course, it must be reliable and it should be sustainable. So these days we talk about creating solutions that are sustainable. Is very, very important. So, and of course, continue to learn, then lead a life of gratitude is very important. Then of course, the success. Success is also very danger. You become a successful person, have millions or billions of dollars. Unless you use rightly, it can be very danger. It is something like drug. When you take a drug, you think, oh, I'm a very successful person. I'm very smart. Everybody respect me. Looks like I'm a god. So that is what people start thinking. But if you have a life that is driven by gratitude and appreciation for all those people who made successful, then you will be very clear and happy and successful, not only in this life, but also in the future life. So with that, let me again congratulate all the graduates of this class 2025. So whenever you face challenges in your life, whether they are small challenge or a challenge as big as Mount Everest, please remember. So this last verse again I want to repeat. Yatra Yogeswara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanudhara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti Nitirmatirmam. Okay, so here doesn't mean that you go and do all the time puja. What I'm saying is, wherever Krishna and a person who is doing some activity, maybe karma yoga, so keep this book. It is not different from Krishna. A following teachings of Krishna or doing some service to Krishna, both are same. So if you follow these teachings of this Bhagavad Gita in your professional endeavor, in your personal endeavor, then you will be successful both materially in terms of wealth, in terms of emotion, in terms of spirituality, and of course you will be also victorious and you will also have a courage, just like Gandhi. And then of course you will also be, a person who can be a Sthita Prajna, so that you can be happy forever. With this, let me finish and thank you very much. All the best. Hare Krishna.
Refreshing to be listening to a man of considerable and staggering achievements. Now you can give a big round of applause.